struggling here, but I'm good to go.
All right, I'm gonna call the hearing to order. It's a hearing about additional appropriation resolution. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to make a comment on our, during the hearing on this resolution? Hearing none, I will open the floor for
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to have the appropriation funds to be able to utilize them. If I'm not mistaken, this is nothing to increase our tax rates or anything like that. This is the state of Indiana has already provided these funds to the corporation, and our action that we will be taking will allow us to spend those funds. So I make a motion to, for resolution on additional appropriations.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Ron?
No, I have talked, we've had two reps, different reps the last two budgets, and for whatever reason, I don't know why they underfund our education budget so bad that they do. And so, the money is there, and this just allows us to, either move it around or use it if we have to. We will have a pretty nice surplus in the education fund, but this will give us some flexibility.
Mr. Ron, is this, we've already got the money, it's in
Yeah.
our bank, so in our numbers that we look at on our accounting, that at the bottom, this is in that part. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of the resolutions presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. And I will close that meeting out. And now open our regular scheduled meeting. If you would please stand, we'll have a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public who wishes to address an agenda item on tonight? If so, speak up now, please. We need your name and address. Hearing none, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes. We have the November 9th, 2020 Teachers Agreement Ratification Meeting minutes, November 9th, 2020 regular meeting, and the November 18th, 2020 executive meeting. Looking for a motion to approve those minutes.
I make a motion to approve the 3 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on those items? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Reports, administrative reports. Now, I'm not sure who we have and who we don't have.
Well, you should have rep reports for all the,
Oh, for all of them.
for all the buildings, so I don't know if
Is there any?
any of the administrators, I know Mr. Scheidler often has trouble helping himself, but, if any comments need to be made.
Yeah, is there any administrator that needs to make any comments other than what they've got here?
I actually have Ron here, and I was hoping he could talk to you about what FFA has been working on. Nathan, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan, the floor is yours.
All right, so normally we do a food drive around this time of year for Christmas. This year we weren't able to do canned food or non-perishable items, so we went with monetary donations through the student body, outside sources, and SAD. Along with the FFA, we accumulated about $1,100 to donate to the Methodist Church and the food pantry. Another thing that we worked on here lately was the toy drive for, again, for Christmas. It went really well. We worked with Presbyterian Church and set up a toy store of sorts at Honan Hall. So we've been working hard and trying to get the community through these times.
I didn't need it. What, Nathan, what organization was behind that?
The food drive?
We, the FFA, were working with the Presbyterian Church. I'm not quite sure who.
Okay, so it was an
What the
FFA
exact
school.
organization.
Okay. Thank you. I couldn't-
Thanks, Nathan.
Nathan who?
I also wanted, I don't know if Hannah Serenian's on, but Hannah Serenian was our Lily recipient this year. So I asked her to attend. I don't know if she made it, but I wanted just to congratulate her for a huge honor of the Lily grant this year, which, you know, Mr. Meyer knows what a big accomplishment that is, because his son earned that. Hopefully you have my board report in front of you. I figured you did not want me there in person since I seem to be like, you know, the building with all the fun going on. But we've had a lot of great things. The teachers have done an amazing job. I've been very proud of our student body, dealing with the roller coaster of in and out. Overall, everybody's been making the best of it. So, thank you. If you have any questions for the high school.
Hannah is on the screen, I believe, so
Hannah, are you there?
congratulations, Hannah.
Unmute yourself.
Are you muted?
Oh,
Oh,
It's a wonderful honor, thank you.
congratulations. Congratulations.
okay, thank you, Mrs. Circle. Mrs.
Thank you.
Hannah, can you tell us what college you're going to? Do you have a plan?
All state it is.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Circle. Mrs. Clayton with us? Does she have anything she wants to share?
I think I have everything that you need to know at this time in the board report. I don't know if you've had time to look at it, but feel free after you look at it to always email me or call me.
Okay, any questions for Mrs. Clayton while we have her on? No? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Reddick, do you have anything you want to share?
Not really anything other than what's on the report that I sent. The only things that I would like to make some shout outs to a couple of people. One, the office staff at the middle school. I know that probably none of you have been through when you get that phone call that you got to quarantine 25 kids during the day, but their willingness just to drop everything and start making phone calls, and then we get the kids into the room and kind of pick them up. It's pretty amazing to see them do all that work at a drop of a dime. I'd also like to give a huge thanks to Joni and Kay, our nurses. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine 7 days a week. I mean, they're getting phone calls all the time. It's really neat to see how hard they work and how well they communicate. And then Valerie and Joyce down at the health department. I mean, whenever we have a question, we can reach out to them and they're instantly responding to it. And it's really a huge help when we're going through all the stuff that we're going through. So that's all I really wanted to add.
Any questions for Mr. Reddick? Thank you, sir. Mr. Scheidler, anything you need to add?
Well, I know Mr. Ronk would be sad if I didn't speak, but I want to reiterate or ditto what Jake said about Joan and Kay Ross. They've been incredible. And again, I I'm grateful selfishly that we're still physically open. You know, it's kind of like you get a couple back and you send a couple home, and again, it's for their safety and it's for quarantine. It's not like an epidemic through the school, but it's more just to make sure we can continue to move forward. So I think I talked in my board report about some of the innovative things that teachers are trying. Hour of code last week. Some of our teachers that are kind of mimicking maybe some of the efforts at the middle school and high school, doing some live teaching that's reaching some of our quarantine students. So kudos to the teachers. Again, you know, someone said it changes every day. It changes by the hour. It's absolutely an incredible experience. So my hat's off to everyone and all their efforts, our community members, our families, our students, and our staff. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Scheidler? Thank you, Mr. Scheidler. Mrs. Gill, it's nice to see you up there. Last week, or last meeting, I think you were like a 2-inch square on the monitor we had over here. We couldn't hardly see you.
Really?
So, do you have anything you need to add?
I have nothing to add, sir, except I would just like to give a shout out to Mr. Chuck Foreman for his service, and we will miss him at Camden. But
Thank
best
you.
wishes to him.
Any questions for Mrs. Gill? Thank you. Superintendent's report, Mr. Ron.
I tried to share most of this with the board, but, the GEAR grant is gonna provide about $350,000 directly to Delphi schools in the community for, equipment and better, internet. Our tax rate actually went down this year, which I think people will be pleased with. The other things on here, Mr. Strebeck, I was gonna call on you. Any other new updates on the athletic building, other than I shared with the board about the insulation, door end, REMC starting?
Just Saturday, we ran the power from the meter box to the building, and then Shane will take it on inside the building and attach it to the main breaker box.
And
Supposed to be working on that this week.
and what about our schedule on the electric bus?
On the electric bus, it will be here at around 10 Wednesday morning, so I think you would have the time to come on up. Would love for you to see it. It'll be delivered by transport. We had a little hiccup today, got a call from them. They found out through their own charger that it needs more amperage. So we got a hold of Tom Price, that he's gonna have the right breaker and the right amperage by Wednesday morning when the bus gets here.
Is that gonna be delivered to the bus barn down there? Or the
To my knowledge,
transportation?
yes. So I'm gonna kind of keep an eye out up here until then, see if it goes through. Yes, they should bring it down to the bus barn at 10, or around 10, he said. So we're excited. Hopefully they'll take us all for a ride so you can, see and hear it.
No, that's it.
Any questions for Mr. Ron over that material? Okay, routine matters. Is there any objection to running all the routine matters in one motion? Right, not hearing any. Routine matters, consent items. We have claims and payroll in the amount of $1,635,843.59. Summary of the tax draw received in December for end of the month. Review fund report nearing the end of the year. And approval of the financial reports is submitted by the treasurer. Employment of classified staff, Rebecca Titus, Ashley Lucas, Arlene Wolf, Brian Schneid, is that right? Steve, Lucas Schmidt, Coy Pennington, and Jason Wilson. Employment of certified staff, Doug Nelson is athletic supervisor for the remainder of the year, and Mara Jordan is in for maternity leave. Resignations, Cameron Yates, ninth grade basketball, and Katie Evans has asked for maternity leave. Those are the routine matters. Looking for a motion to approve the routine matters.
I make a motion to approve the routine matter.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on any of those items?
the Camden Early Childhood head custodian, his name is what?
Ryan Schmidt.
Brian
What's his last name?
Schneed, SCHNIEB.
I don't have a name on mine, it just says
Yeah.
head custodian.
Any other questions about the, or discussion on the routine matters?
How many hours is that a day?
8.
8 hours?
Yeah.
1580 an hour, Chris. Chuck this here. I got one. Mariah, Jordan, do we know what we're paying her? I mean, is it the normal so many days at sub and then the rest is that right? I mean, that's what.
I have found that we sometimes can save some money by offering a standard fee as opposed to the $15 at $80 or $90 versus the professional rate, so I will work with her.
Okay,
Get that
that's
worked
fine.
out. And I'll share that with you the next meeting.
But that's to assume provide somewhere around in February or so.
Right.
So we got a few days. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else on the routine matters?
I was gonna share the one that has my notes on it, the blue notes about the fund activity. I just wanted you to be aware of where we started with some of those funds at the beginning of the year and where we hope to end up. And so, I think you're seeing, a lot of progress that has been made. And the bottom line, if you go to the last, where it shows the fund balance, I'm hoping that the total will be over $3 million more than it was a year ago.
Good news.
We just, I believe it was it today, Andrea, that we got the payment from the state too, for the last payment for education.
Tomorrow.
And it was, was it 818,000?
Yeah.
So that education fund has those funds in it now.
The cafeteria fund is getting, 175,000 tomorrow as well, so that'll take them back out of the negative too.
You say that was the what?
The
Cafeteria?
cafeteria fund, yeah, they
Thank
had
you.
to wait with all the changes and stuff, they had to wait to submit some of their claims, and so now they're getting
Okay.
kind of a back pay.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the routine matters as presented. All in favor, say aye, please. Gil?
Nope, it was an aye.
Okay, thank you. You're a little delayed. All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 6-0. New business. Hey, Tuck Point Masonry Repairs. Mr. Ronk, do you wanna talk about that, or Ross, or someone?
I'll start it and ask, Ross to comment on it, but, we had the original bid from Haynes, and they revised it, and it was up slightly higher. But we got a second bid from this Indy Masonry, and we're really impressed that they looked at it much more closely. They identified a lot more items that needed to be fixed, and frankly, Ross and I are both under the impression that this would serve us much better in the long run to accept the higher bid, because we just believe that it's going to serve us well to finally get that fixed. I think we're all concerned that if we can't go too many more winters without that being repaired. Ross, did you wanna comment? You met with both gentlemen.
Yeah, to give you an idea, the gentleman from Indy Mason is much more thorough. He found areas up on the upper level as well, but not too many. But the big thing he found that really impressed me, the others did not, is that he followed those cracks, and they actually on the corners, especially on the backside of the building, go all the way to the top. And he said the mistake was made when they built it, there were no expansion joints put in. And he said if we don't repair that all the way down and put in expansion joints, water's gonna get in behind there again and just crack it back down. So I just got, even though it is a lot more expensive, I got a great feeling about his expertise, his thoroughness, and the first group didn't even notice, I put on there the lintel on the west door of the cafeteria that's facing the back entrance for the elementary office. The lintel is completely shot, and if you don't replace it, that's allowing the brick to crack all the way up above it as well. Not to mention the door wouldn't fall through.
Yeah. Okay, we need a motion, and we'll have a board discussion.
Mr. President, I move to, for Tuckin Point missionary repairs, be pulled out of our, 5.1 million bond, to go to Indy Masonry, sorry. Mason, sorry, for $70,685.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Floor is open for discussion.
Well, it's higher, we're getting a lot more work out of them, right? I mean, they're replacing areas that the other people weren't even gonna work on.
They didn't identify the upper areas that needed to repair all the way down the side of the wall, so they could have patched at the bottom, and then within 2 or 3 years, it was always cracking.
Right.
I really truly believe what they're gonna do will last us as long as the building.
Is this a summer project?
For spring, yes.
And how long did they think it would take?
He did not. I can ask him tomorrow and get the information that is wrong on. But we can make it a summer project. I just told him that we weren't planning to do anything until next spring, right?
Yeah, as long as they do the areas where they don't disrupt traffic, if they do it in the spring, I'm really fine.
Maybe they can work on the backside. And also make sure they don't disrupt the ground.
And I also believe this bid contains, more money for materials, like Ross was talking about, that, you know, some of the materials he said he might have a difficult time finding or replacing. He tried to, include in the cost of the bid.
Especially the new tile around the gym pillars in that area. It's hard to find an exact match.
Well, I know for a fact that cafeteria door, that they have to replace that linen and, cut all that out. That's gonna require some work, and that's been like that for several years. So, and you say the other company didn't even?
They didn't even put that in their bid.
Oh, wow. It's been bad for
Years.
a long time.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to accept Indy Masonry bid, $70,685. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. B, administrative pay raises.
Mr. President, I'd like to table this, motion, and we have a new board member coming on, plus, with evaluations and stuff, to be able to review, those raises. Not to put it off, much more into January, but, at this point, make a motion just to, table
We have a motion on the floor to table, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table this until January meeting. Any discussion?
When will we have the evaluation time?
Well, you aren't gonna have the formal evaluations, but we can have summary evaluations.
You talking about administrative evaluation?
Yeah.
Have we always done that at midterm? Or just before raises, or? I thought they always came in spring.
Normally they get done in
Spring,
Yeah.
before June. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to table the administrative pay raises until the January meeting. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-1. C, authorization of superintendent to purchase maintenance truck for up to $32,000. Looking for a motion.
Mr. President, I move to, authorize superintendent to purchase a maintenance truck, up to $32,000.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions, comments?
Do we know what kind of truck we're gonna get yet?
What we've been looking at is the option between a heavy half and a 3/4, and after talking with Tony Garrison at Man, he said even though it would handle a light plow, he said the transmissions and the differentials are not built for continuous use like that. So we moved to looking at a 3/4 ton. Just to give you an idea, why I'd like to see you guys approve this for Mr. Ron, I went 2 Fridays ago to look at 3 trucks at Man Chevrolet, and by that following Monday morning, 2 of the 3 were sold. I talked to, Tyner, and he said they just can't get any new trucks right now, so the used trucks are just going like hot. So we just need to be prepared if we find the right one to be able to jump on. They do have 1 3/4 ton out there that Tom Milet used to own, so I know it will have been taken care of, but we are looking at it.
Ross, how much is a 3/4 ton new, like, work truck style, with not many options?
Not many options, I would have to check with Mans, but my guess, you're probably talking at least 50. But I could double check that, because if you go work truck style, but even right now you can't get it.
Right.
Unless you can find it out of state or something.
Well, they have a dealer search. My idea is, if it's not a lot more money, you get a warranty, you get something that's gonna last 10 or 15 years for us, like the current truck has. No matter what you buy on a used one, you've already got a lot of miles on it, you have no warranty. And I think it would be wise for us to make sure we're spending our money smartly, just like we did on the truck portion. I am all for getting a new truck, but I want it to be the best value and the longest life, and spend our money the best with it.
What's the condition of our truck fleet? How many pickups do we have, and what's their conditions?
I would say fair to below. We have, Donnie's old truck, Keith's old truck, there's 2 there. We have the salt truck that we use at the high school, and we have the dump truck. And they're all really starting to show their age and wear and tear. We spent probably a little over $1,000 in the last month on the Greg's truck just to keep it going.
So,
And it needed a new transmission sensor and harness, and then it needed some, front steering.
what we really need to look at, Ross, it's more of a long-term thing, right? I mean, maybe a year, every year, whatever it is, once we can, whatever we can afford to do, right? But I agree with Steve. I mean, if we're in that type of shape, I'd rather spend more money, get a truck that's gonna last, fit us better. You know, I would like to see Mans, and if somebody wants to look at Fords too, to get competitive pricing, I don't know if anybody's hooked in with, state discounts that we may or may not occur, and bring back to us for that. Like I said, Steve, I mean, I don't care if it's 50,000, I mean, maybe that is, right? Seems like a little bit much in anybody, but at the end of the day, we gotta be responsible long-term as well as short-term, because we buy a $30,000 truck, we may need to replace it in 4 years from now. And we're at another 30.
Starting tomorrow.
So, and they've done good. I mean, they've took care of the trucks and they've lasted, but
Yes,
it's time to start replacing them too, I think.
you talking about the one Greg drives in '98?
Yeah. So, Mr. President, I'd like to just, make a motion to table this, until we can get some, bids on, looking at the options of potential new stuff, Ross. I know sometimes it's hard to pass on some deals, but looking maybe more at a newer thing for now, maybe we'll use one later on to replace the whole fleet, but today I think we need to be looking at.
Start fresh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table this, to further date. Any discussion on that motion?
I think that maybe it's wise to look at the advantages of getting a new truck like this, put the warranty on it, see what the differences in price are and what's out there.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion to table this. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. B. State mandated programs mandated by Indiana, not funded. Mr. Ronk, would you like to go through this and then?
I certainly would, because these are my favorite kind of programs, so, it was really interesting, because, the state released a big report today on teacher pay and compensation, but all kinds of suggestions and ideas, and I think one of them should have been, don't create new positions that, you, don't provide any funding for, but, that's what we're, looking at here, and so we have to have, English learner teachers of record in our school system. And what I asked Mrs. Clayton to do was come up with a job description, because eventually there has to be both a K through 5 and a 6 through 12 person in charge of these programs. And so what I would like for you to do tonight is adopt the job descriptions. If I could go on to the other part, is that then once we have done that, we'd like to post a position for one person to do this for the rest of 21, both things, and because what we're gonna have to do is get that person some training and shadowing so that we can be ready to start this position, and then this will become 2 positions in 2022. So that's what I am requesting of you tonight, is to adopt the job description and then create just one position for now for a K through 12 teacher for this program that we would begin to look at in January.
Thank you, Mr. Ronk. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to adopt the job descriptions for these 2 positions and to start planning for hiring staff person, is that correct?
Correct.
Any discussion on that?
All through special ed.
Well, it falls into that umbrella, but it's working with students that obviously are not, that English is not their first language.
Will the funds be charged to special ed, or will they be?
We hope to have some grant funds to help with this, but it's unsettled. We don't know what will be available.
Mr. Round, can I chime in here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, just to clarify, this has nothing to do with special education. This is all for our English language learners.
Okay.
So think more in terms of Title III in NESP grant. We may be able to have some funding for the NESP grant with the future retirement of the person whose salary uses up that grant now, so definitely, could have some money to help out with the extra cost in hiring this personnel.
Thank you. And is this more administrative? I mean, are we
The
just,
role would be more administrative along with some, intervention help depending on the caseload. I think it's also, sorry, I gotta pull the board report up on my phone here. As it, states that we would have 2 positions, the state is recommending that each TOR not have more than 30 students on their caseload. Therefore, that's why we went ahead with a K-5 and a 6 through 12 position. That 6 through 12 position that must be started by 2022. That teacher not only has to be licensed, but they will also have to teach a credit course to those students, and that credit will work towards graduation requirements.
What will their license, what will they be licensed in?
English language acquisition.
Do we know how many students that will be in the classes now?
I mean, as far as actual classes, I don't have, hang on, I have numbers.
I believe K-5, it's about 40, right, Allison? 40 to 60?
Yeah, and then middle school, we have 15 students, and then I did not get back, high school did not get back as far as how many students they have. Anne Marie, do you know how many students you have, 9 through 12? I would say.
Dana sent it to you, let me send it. I wanna say it's about 7, but I'm going off the code.
Okay.
7, and what was the first number?
I have to look that.
There's 40 at K through 5 and 15 at middle school.
So the main thing come 2022 will be, obviously we'll have to look at numbers, but we'll be looking towards that class that's gonna be offered for credit. And that will have to be offered to our 9 through 12 students. And that's really coming back down from the Office of Civil Rights, more so than even the state of Indiana.
I think we need to look also at retention of students and attraction of students to appropriate.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion on the floor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Number 2, deaf and hard hearing teacher to record. Mr. Ross?
Well, just like with the English language program, the state wants us to have a deaf and hard hearing licensed person, and they would be, this would fall under special ed services, and they do have to be properly licensed. And right now, we only have one teacher that we believe would qualify for this, and that would be Susan Harris. And what we are proposing is that she be assigned as Delphi's deaf and hard of hearing teacher of record, and then that we enter into an agreement with her that she will seek this certification through college courses, and that we will reimburse the cost of her gaining this certification after she completes the coursework. So if she successfully completes it, then we will use grant funds to reimburse her expenses so that we meet this state requirement. It's a win-win, I think, for both parties.
Ready for motion?
I move that we approve the deaf and hard hearing teacher of record request.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion.
So is the
long-term plan on this, will be, because of the potential caseload that, Mrs. Harrison, she currently teaches a special ed class, that we'll need to replace her in that, or this is addition to.
This would be in addition to, she's actually already doing the job right now on
Right.
an emergency permit and has not started coursework, but in order to keep that emergency permit, she has to be in coursework in January. So this would not be any more than what she's doing now. We have 2 students, currently with this eligibility. So we gain, through our APC funding, which is tied to our December 1 count, $18,000 for those 2 students, actually $18,312. And the coursework is going to cost around $8,200. And so, as Mr. Ronk said, it's a win-win. It's something that we have to have, otherwise we have to contract through the state, which is what we did our first, about 9 months into being out of the co-op, and it was very costly. So in the long run, you know, like I said, we don't have a large population, but it is something that we must have in order to serve these students. And you never know when another DHH student is gonna move in, so.
Okay, thank you.
That'd be prepared.
I didn't know if we need to look at planning right to, down the future, to replace, but like you said, right now, she'll maintain her current job, and she's already doing it, so, okay, thank you.
Her coursework, will that be something she can do online, or will she have to go to a college, or?
I think most of it is all online through Indiana State University. There may be a couple times that she has to report on campus, but it should not interfere with anything that she's doing.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor for the DHS teacher record, DHH teacher record. All in favor, say aye, please. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 6, other business. We have a resolution to transfer funds from operations to cafeteria. Can we do both those together? Both those resolutions?
Well, actually, the second one isn't a resolution, so I would
Okay.
rather deal with this,
Okay.
this one first. And, the state of Indiana has been working on an audit on our cafeteria fund for quite a while, and we had some negotiations back and forth. And, we were able to successfully reduce the amount of funds that were in dispute. But, the state says that we owe $24,677 from the operations fund to the cafeteria fund, because some salaries were paid out of the cafeteria fund that should have been in operations. So that amount is specifically what we are transferring between those 2 funds. Rarely do you see this kind of a transfer, but it is necessary in this case. And again, the money is in the budget, we just simply have to prove it.
Okay, we're looking for a motion on this resolution.
I move we transfer the $24,677 from operations to cafeteria fund.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, question? Hearing none. Motion and second on the floor for the resolution to transfer funds from operations to cafeteria. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. B, resolution to transfer funds from education to operations. Mr. Ron?
And again, I misstated this and I apologize, but back on January 6th, you passed a resolution to transfer funds from education to operations. But this is such a large amount, I just simply wanted you to be aware of the amount and that, to approve it so that we can move forward with it. But it is for $500,000, and we are limited in how much we can transfer from education. If you'll remember, when we were working with Dr. Eiler, he wanted us to transfer an amount every month, but we just haven't been able to do that. But now we're in a position to make this transfer, and this will help us with our cash flow and operations. If you recall, we'll get $315,000 back in operations from Volkswagen, but we have to fully pay for the electric bus first, and so that fund should be good, and at that point, sometime later in the spring, I think we'll be able to transfer funds both, into rainy day from both operations and education. So I'm looking forward to that, and also, Andrea and I are looking at a situation where we receive local income tax, and right now it all goes into education, and we are looking at the possibility that we can start making that a regular transfer, where we transfer those funds. They have to go into education, then we'll take them out and put them in rainy day. So that's what we're looking into. And that's about, probably, I think it's around $300,000 a year. Does that sound right, Andrew? So there's gonna be some movement in that, and hopefully we can build up that rainy day fund, for the time when hopefully we don't need it, but may.
Thank you. Looking for a motion.
It's a motion to just transfer
that amount.
You not to pass the resolution.
I make a motion to allow the transfer of funds from education to operations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on that?
You said 500,000. Thank you.
I'll amend my motion to state the amount of $500,000.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor on this particular motion. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. C, property casual insurance policy renewal. Mr. Rowan?
I'm recommending that we stick with S-Craft. S-Craft is the co-op that we're in, and I think over the long haul, we will end up saving a great deal of money. We earn credits every year we're in it, and at some point then, those credits will be able to be transferred and help pay for the policy. But we saw a big increase in liability insurance, and so that is virtually all of the increase that we are seeing in this year's quote for renewal. So it's up about 16%, and like I say, it's all due to liability. We're seeing some big issues around cyber security and also some issues around pollution liability. So I think this is still a very good policy. I talked to Rossville and Carroll, who are both on this same plan, and their increases were exactly the same as ours.
Thank you. Motion?
I make a motion to stay with our casualty, or with the insurance policy renewal with S-Craft.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion.
Do we get any kind of a credit from,
We will,
having
but
our
you
solar
have to
fields?
belong, I'm sorry.
With having our solar fields, I mean, we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint, and, none of the other schools have anything like that.
Well, but we're also paying extra for protection for the solar field and panels too. So that was part of what we had to do when we redid the policy a year ago. So right now, the credit we're getting is hopefully through our bill.
And are all the schools, is theirs, going up $20,000?
Well, they don't like it, but you don't have a lot of options in terms of, like I say, there are almost 110 schools now that belong to this co-op, and so they're all in the same situation. But a big company called Brett, who provides the liability insurance, dropped the amount that they were willing to cover, so they had to go into what's called the reinsurance market to find other companies that were willing to fill in on that liability. And that's where that cost increase came.
How many years have we been in this?
This is just a second.
And then when would we start receiving standards?
Let me get you exact number. I'd be guessing, but I was thinking it was after 3 years.
And is it based on lower number of claims or?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
the more credit you get, the less you use, the more credit.
Right.
Any other questions or comments?
It's all going up, we're getting hit at work, so.
I checked around, Mr. Dimple, and a lot of commercial insurers have really raised their rates this year. It's a pretty common trend.
Yeah, autos don't play that, too, especially, trucks. Also goes for one.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to renew the current policy at $146,552.44. All in favor, say aye, please. Opposed?
I think the dog is pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got an extra vote there.
Oh, no, that was Gil.
That was a 7-0 vote.
Motion passes 6-0. Okay, future dates and agenda items, January 11th, 2021 at 7 o'clock. Be a regular board meeting here in this room. March 16th to the 22nd will be the band trip to New Orleans. And this is not on there, but I'll give it to you. January 4th at 6:30, you will have a reorganizational meeting here.
Mike, you want to do that in the administration office?
Yeah, we're,
I'm at the organization.
it's a separate night also.
Okay.
You wanna do it over there?
Yeah.
Okay. The January 4th meeting will be in the corporation office.
Did you want to check with Mr. Smith on that time and make sure?
Mr. Smith, 6:30, January 4th, will you be available?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Board comments, do we have our student representatives? Erica, are you with us?
Jessica.
Oh,
Yes,
Erica.
I am.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Erica, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
First I wanted to say congratulations to Hannah on getting the Lily. And then second, I'd like to thank the administration for their continuous, work and support during all this chaos. So yeah.
Thank you. Jessica, are you with us?
Yeah.
Do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I'm glad that Nathan and Hannah were able to be recognized. I know that the FFA has been working with Presbyterian Church for the canned food drive, and they've put a lot of work into that. As well as Hannah receiving the lowest scholarship, because I know that she's a really hardworking student and she very much deserves that. So I'm glad that they were able to be recognized for that.
Thank you. Okay, it's been 2 years since I had to, did not have to wait till last to go through the board comments, so I'm gonna go first tonight. Since this is probably my last meeting, I got some thank yous I'd like to give, and first of all, I'd like to thank our student body. You people have gone through a lot in the last 10 months. A lot of you have missed dances and athletic seasons, and you never know from one week to the next where you're gonna be and what you're gonna be doing, and I really want to thank you and appreciate what you're doing to keep everything rolling. So for the student body, I want to thank them. The administration, certified staff, classified staff, same thanks to all you people. Your jobs are tough enough in a normal year, and to have to deal with what you're dealing with now makes it that much tougher. So I appreciate all the work that you people have done and continue to do. I don't know if Tim's on there or not tonight, but I want to thank the DCTA. The last 4 years, we've had a good relationship with the DCTA, and I hope it continues. And I just want to thank those folks for all that they do. The board members, thank you for your support the last 3 or 4 years. I know you've got a big task ahead of you here in the next few months, picking a new superintendent and so forth, and I wish you the best. Zach, good luck coming on the board. Hope everything works out for you, and I'm sure it will. These guys, you'll be able to work with these guys. Just every now and then, put them back in line, and they'll be all right. Nick, I want to thank you. There was a time there where I had to ask for your counsel quite often, and I always appreciated your help and all the things you do for us. So thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Neil.
And Dan, you kind of got through in the fire when this all started. I don't know if you knew exactly what you were getting into, but I certainly
Not exactly.
I certainly appreciate all that you've done, and I think everybody on the board and the staff here and everything appreciates all you've done. So thank you. You made a transition work very smoothly. So
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, board members, Mr. Nipple.
All right, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for attending the meeting tonight, both here and on Zoom. I'd like to thank the staff and the custodians for all that they've been going through in this hardship time. I'd like to thank Neil for his time and dedication on the board. It's been a pretty trying time with this pandemic going on, and it's really put a lot of pressure on the board and the president himself to get us through all this. I'd like to thank Chuck Foreman for his service over at Camden Early Childhood, and I'd also like to congrats to Rainey Alding Jones for her silver anniversary accomplishment on the girls all-star team, and also to Hannah for her Lilly Scholarship Award. That's a great honor, and I hope she really does well with it. So that's it. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Mr. Schwartzbach.
I did a lot what Mr. Nipple said. Thanks to Joni and Kay. I know they're a center part of the pandemic for us, and working with all the administrators and everything like that, our staff, all the way down to our custodians, our bus drivers. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, and I truly believe we're still raising children, so I appreciate everything you guys done. Hannah with the Lilly Scholarship, again, what accomplishment to have that honor, and I know you'll make us proud no matter what you do. The FFA, the same way. Chuck, I gotta mention Chuck too. It's great for him to be able to enjoy a little bit now maybe, and so, but it's also hard for him. I think they made him ride a little scooter or something over there for his retirement ending. Neil, I want to say thank you to you. It's like Chris said, it's hard, one, being on board through these times, but you've been able to help direct us through those too. Mr. Ronk, I do want to thank you too. Yeah, you didn't know what you was getting into, but I still thank you for the day you said yes.
Yeah.
So you're stuck until we find the next one. Ross, thank you on the bus and getting things ready there and on that type of things too. Merry Christmas. We have 4 more days and we'll be on break.
Hopefully 4 more days.
Mr. Strasser.
I'd like to echo all the thoughts as well. There's a lot of good things going on at Delphi Community School Corporation. And I'd like to kind of echo what Neil said about the student body, that they're going through a lot, unprecedented times. And we thank them for everything that they're putting up with. And to go on with that, we, not only the student body, but the parents. And we have to thank them for everything that they're doing. And we also have to ask them for their patience. because, you know, they have a work schedule and they have to bounce it around depending on what's going on with COVID. So, you know, we appreciate everything that the parents are going through as well. And please be patient with everybody at the corporation, because this is a moving target. And Neil, thank you for your service. And we'll keep talking.
Mr. Priest?
Well, I'd like to thank all our healthcare workers, Yoni and Kay, and administrators for going above and beyond during these trying times. I know how much extra work it is. It's unbelievable unless you see it on a daily basis like I do. I really appreciate all the extra work you do. I'd like to congratulate the FFA for their extra work on the food drive and toy drive. It just confirms what I always thought about the FFA, what a special organization they are. So I'm happy for their success. Best of luck, Chuck, retired Camden, and for Neil. It's been an honor and pleasure to work with you. I know it's only been a couple of years, but I'd like to wish you good luck in your second retirement. And I'd like to wish the entire Delphi Community School Corporation family Merry Christmas.
Gilbert, are you with us?
I am. So a lot of things have already been said, but I want to reiterate a couple things. The first biggie was I really thought it was cool how the Camden students wished Mr. Chuck a happy retirement, and his was it a yacht that he got to be sent off in? Those pictures are really cool, and Mrs. Go, I really appreciate you sharing those with us. It helps us remember that, you know, at the front of all this is students. So it's really cool, and they appreciated him. He's part of that building just like everybody else. So again, thanks to Chuck for his years of service. Neil, you have provided tremendous leadership at a time when the board needed it most. So thank you for that. I'm afraid you serving one term as a result of it. However, we do appreciate you. You served in a very challenging time from the time you started, and as you exit, you've set us on a better path. So thank you for all that you've done to serve Delphi, not just the corporation, but everybody in it. Zach has some big shoes to fill. We look forward to working with him, but we've had a lot of great representatives out of Madison Township, so we look forward to him joining us. To the administrators, it's been tough. Tough time with COVID, tough time with parents, tough times with students, tough times with sports, tough time with staff. You know, there's nothing about your job that is not a day-to-day absolute pain, figuring out what you're going to do next. So the decisions you're making, I know you weigh very heavily. They weigh on your heart. They, with the thought about students are really what's out front. So continue to do what you do. Do what you can with the information you have, the resources we have, and really we know you're making the best decisions. As I said home tonight, because I can't be in the meeting due to COVID, you know, I think about the fact that we all are stuck. And while I don't like it and I feel great, there's a chance that I could walk in that room and contaminate every one of you. So I'm happy to do my part. So again, thank you for all of that. And Neil said it well, but you know, for our students, this is tough, you know, for our high school juniors and seniors that have now spent a year or now two not having those last events. Hopefully this will let up. However, we're going into a time that it's not going to let up, and it's going to be worse for a while. So the things we're doing now are preventative. Hopefully we can get back to school full time in this, you know, after the new year and stay in school for a while. Hannah, I want to congratulate her. What a great representative for Delphi with the Lilly nominee. She will represent us well, so congratulations to her, and I hope she wins it all. And I again wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Please find time to enjoy your families during this time down, and we'll be hopefully recharged a little bit in January to tackle it all again. So thank you everybody for what you're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Meyer?
Right now, remember why going last was so difficult. I will echo everything all the other board members said. I agree with all of it. Two things I would like to personally point out though is wish everyone a Merry Christmas, healthy and safe. And then the last thing I do want to I think all of us board members would agree, not very long ago, we were in a pretty rough financial place, and we've made quite a bit quicker turnaround than I expected and probably everybody else expected as well. So a special thanks to Dan and the staff at the central office and everybody within the corporation that has helped tighten our belts and make things turn around actually quite quicker than I thought it would. So that's special thanks on that. And then lastly, I got a little gift I'll say, and thank you for Neil. The school's presenting him a plaque, says in honor of your service as board president. Your guidance and direction as a board president has strengthened the bond between the community and the school. Your dedication has enriched the lives of students and inspires us all. And we thank you for all your service.
Thank everyone. Guess we're looking for one last motion.
Sounds like it was on there.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second on the floor to adjourn. All in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned. Everybody please stay safe.
Which gavel did you use?
That's the 6th one.